Nessos. This is a simple game of deduction and bluff published by IELLO. It has a Greek theme, although the game is not very thematic. But then, you know, not every game has to be thematic. And in this case, at least the Greek idea has offered IELLO, or the publisher or the designer, the opportunity to have this nice art on the cards. Art that is inspired by ancient Greek, ancient vases. And also we have all these nice monsters, and we have Charon, the ferryman of Hades. So what you have in the game is a deck of cards that are numbered from 1 to 10, plus we have a number of Charon cards, and then we have this nice little amphor. How cute is that? And that indicates who the active player is. The game is played in rounds. Each round the player will be the active player, will trigger a sequence of actions. When that is over, another player becomes the active player, triggers the next sequence, and so on and so forth, until a player has scored a certain number of points. You score points by receiving cards and accepting cards, and we'll see what that means, and by placing cards face up in front of you. If you have enough points in front of you to score the number of points that are required to win the game, and that amount changes depending on the number of players, well, you guessed it, you win the game. You win the game by having enough points. If you ever have 3 Charon cards in front of you, however, you get kicked out of the game. Now, that also means because of the values, of course, higher values are better. You know, a 9 or an 8 is clearly better than a 4. Is not necessarily better than a 1, a 2, or a 3. Because in order to make those low value cards valuable, what we have here is, well, a rule that tells us that if you have a set of 1, 2, and 3, it is worth 10 extra points. And so this set here would be worth 16 points. And suppose you're playing to 30 points, well, I'm pretty close to win the game. Oh, actually, I think I just won the game. That was cool. So, how do we get here? How do we get to have cards in front of us? You shuffle all of the cards with lower number of players. You don't shuffle them all. With higher counts, I think 6 players, you use them all. And then you give 5 cards to each player. And so here we have, say, these 4 players here. Now, what happens is the active player selects a card from their hand, puts it face down, and offers it to any one other player. If the card is a number, the player needs to state the value of the card accurately. For example, I can say, okay, Jim, I'm giving you a 3. Would you like it or not? If I'm offering a Charon card, I can say whatever I want. Here, Jim, I'm offering you a 3 or a 9. I can say whatever I want. Now, this player can do 1 or 3 things. They may accept the card, put it face up in front of them, and then they get to score whatever number is there, or they get to keep the stinker if that's what they did. When the card that is offered is placed face up in front of someone, then the round is over, the player that offered the card replenishes their hand, and we start a new one. Suppose that this player, however, doesn't want the card, then there are 2 other options. Can send it back to the sender, in which case the player that offered the card has to flip it face up and place it in front of them. So maybe I'm giving you a stinker and I hope that you take it, or I'm giving you an excellent card and I hope that you send it back and so I can place it in front of me. Third option. The player that is offered a card, I'm telling you this is a 9. I'm like, that's too good to be true. What I can also do is to add a card from my hand. The second player that received that offer can add a card and offer now the 2-card pack to someone else with the same deal. You have to disclose the actual value. If it's a number card, you can say whatever you want. It's a Charon card. You know what? I'm gonna add a 1 and I'm gonna offer it here to Deirdre. And Deirdre's like, oh, I don't know, what can I do? Deirdre has the same 3 options as before. Can send it back to the center, who then has to accept them, can accept them, or can add a card, same rule, oh, it's a 5, or it's a Charon card, and offer it to someone else. At this point, the 3-card pack, that's as high as it gets. The player that receives an offer of 3 cards can send it back to the sender, who has to accept them, or can accept them. You don't have an option writing a 4th one and offering to other people. And this is how it works. So sooner or later, a single card or 2 cards or 3 cards will be flipped face up in front of a player. Players will replenish their hands so that they have 5 cards. You give the first player, the active player, M4 to another player who starts offering, hey Charlie, here is a card for you. It is a 2. Is it? It is. Say 2, what do you want to do? And you repeat. You repeat the process until either only one player is in the game because everybody was kicked out because everybody got 3 caroms in front of them, everybody but one, which seems to be unlikely, still have to see that happening, or among the people that have not been eliminated from the game, the first player to reach a certain number of points is the winner of the game. Nessos. Nessos is a very simple bluffing game, but it's a pretty pleasant one to play, pretty fun. The art, you saw it, I personally really like it, and well, I hope you like it too. But as for gameplay, it really works. Bluffing games can be very easy to design, but it's hard to make them interesting. I could just take a card and you had to guess what it is, and if you guess my bluff, you score a point. If you fall for my bluff, I score a point. Duh. But the idea is that to take that concept and to put it in a system where players will make hypotheses, where they have many hypotheses to consider. And Nessos is such a simple game, but precisely gives you that. Gives you a lot of simple but neat problems to analyze and challenges and moments where you're trying to read somebody else, or of course when you're trying to trick someone else. The fun starts when you're choosing which card to send out. You have a 9 and a 10 and you wouldn't mind sending them out and seeing them bumped back to you, but alas, the problem is that what if they take them? That is a lot of points. Then I'm gonna send out the low value cards, but then if I only do that, the players start having those nice combos like a 1 and a 2, and I really don't want them to get a 3, or a 1 and a 3, and I don't want to get them a 2, etc, etc, etc. So nice dilemmas there. And of course also, well, you are from time to time sneaking a stinker out there and hoping that they take it. And again, there's a bit of theater. You know what, you have had such a hard time, I'm gonna give you an 8 because that is really great. Doesn't the cards, like, if you say a 6, you know it's a 6. Somehow, I don't know, no one lies about a 6. There are these weird numbers that if you declare that you had them, they sound true. 6 and 5, I noticed. So, well, don't tell your friends. Now you know, when they're offering a 5 or a 6, chances are it is a 5 or a 6. Now everybody knows it and they will use it for the camera. But anyways, that's the point. There is constant thinking and trying to come up with what are they thinking, what are people trying to do. But again, this is not just rock, paper, scissors, because there's information based on the tableaus that are formed on the table and based on what you have in your hand. If I have a lot of 3s, then I know that other people haven't seen many 3s. And then maybe I have a carrot and I say it's a 3. And they're like, oh, I haven't seen a 3. So chances are da-da-da. So you can use that information based on what cards have already been played and are visible in tableaus, what are in your hand and no one else knows. There are just a lot of these fun things. And of course the fun thing is when you decide what to do, and then to reject it, send it back, to take it, to send it to someone else, to make like a really nice pile of cards and hope that they send it back to you. There is a push your luck there. Maybe 2 cards have been passed to me, and I think they're kind of good, but I really want to go all out and add another one so I can have 3 in front of me. So just a lot of interesting decisions based on such a simple idea, based on such a simple deck of cards, with numbers from 1 to 10 repeated 4 times, plus some cards with an evil looking guy. Nessos. It's a fun, simple game, a filler definitely. You can play with casual gamers, even with non-gamers. They would definitely understand the rules, and they would also definitely understand the strategy right away. For a game this simple, I would say it's a game that is disproportionately entertaining when you consider how simple the basic idea is. But in general, definitely a nice filler, definitely a nice little game.